Andy Cohen was not joking when he teased at Bravo Fan Fest that the upcoming episode of The Real Housewives of New York City would feature a tear-jerking moment. RHONY delivered one of the most real and raw episodes in its 15-season history with the episode that aired on Tuesday, where they got real about abortion. After the prank, Erin, Leachy, and Rebecca Minkoff cooked up to find the leaky pigeon, gossiping around the group. Leachy sat down with Jenna Lyons to confess something she wanted to put out there. With the overturning of Roe v. Wade and women's health protections at risk amid the 2024 presidential election, Leachy opened up about an abortion she had when she was 18 years old. Leachy was approached by Glamour magazine to talk about it publicly to create awareness of the issue, but was very nervous about this interview coming out, adding, "I don't think I was when I agreed to it because it was kind of like, whatever I can do to help. But it's hard to be attacked by the public. Baby killer. Murder. It was bad enough going through it, no one needs to be abused after it." In her conversation with Lyons, Leachy said she had just moved into college when she found out she was pregnant. "I was terrified. It was the hardest decision I've ever made. It was heart-wrenching," Leachy said. After hearing Leachy's story, Lyons opened up about her own experience, revealing she also had an abortion at age 21. "I've told my friends. I don't know if I ever told anyone in my family," Lyons said in her confessional. "I'm sharing with Erin because I could see that she felt scared, and I want her to feel like she's not alone. And I also want her to know that I understand. It's a really, really hard thing to go through." In her confessional, Leachy said, "Jenna telling me this story, it just made me feel like I'm supported. You're now telling everyone your story, which I could have never imagined. She didn't have to do that." Leachy told Lyons that she had not told her dad, who was having some health issues, about her abortion and wanted to do so before the interview was published. Later on in the episode, Leachy and her dad are having lunch, and she opens up about the abortion she had and tells him she didn't tell him at the time because she was scared of his reaction. "You're telling me 18 years later. What would I have done then?" "I'd support you, probably," Leachy's father said, which made her break into tears. In her confessional, Leachy said, "I don't think I realized that it weighed on me not sharing that with him, but like the unwavering support, it's just. I don't have words. I didn't expect that. The fact that there's zero judgment on his face is the best part," Leachy added. Leachy also told her dad that when she told her mom, she revealed that she had also had an abortion. She then asked her father if he had ever gone through something similar, and he revealed he had gotten someone pregnant who ended up getting an abortion, too. The emotional scene between Leachy and her dad ends with him telling her how much he loves her. For months after filming that scene, Leachy's dad died. "He's just the best. He's the best dad. He was the best dad. I cannot believe he's not here. It's still very fresh," Leachy said in her confessional. "He's such a huge loss for all of us." A montage of Leachy and her dad playing with the RHONY star, saying, "I just feel so grateful. I grew up with an incredible human. I have such a backbone because of that. So it's like, yeah, it sucks, but I'm also incredibly lucky and I just hold on to that." Erin Leachy is sharing her story. Weeks after the Real Housewives of New York City star shared she is pregnant with baby number 4, reflected on her experience getting pregnant at 18 and why she decided to have an abortion. "I literally remember the feeling washing over me in my dorm bathroom, and I just lost it," the 37-year-old told Glamour in an interview originally conducted back in May that was published. "I was sitting on the floor for maybe an hour and a half hysterically crying, just like, what am I gonna do? Oh my God. It was so terrifying to me." Erin, who is mom to Levi, 9, Elijah, 4, and Layla, 7, with her husband Abe Leachy, said that she visited a Planned Parenthood clinic with her then-boyfriend at her side, calling the experience traumatic. The situation marked the end of her relationship as the reality star said she never spoke to him again. "I couldn't," she admitted. "Something broke inside me, and I just didn't even want to have any connection to it." She initially kept the abortion a secret until the following year when she confided in her mother Dorothy Sumek. "The most beautiful part about it was that," she said, "it happened to me too," Erin recalled. "It felt like women supporting women. Like, even though she's my mom, she wanted me to know. Everybody has a story. I would bet that most girls have a similar story, even if it's about using Plan B. Decades later, Erin found the courage to tell her father Eliyahu Yitzhari prior to his death in October. I did wind up discussing my story with my dad, and his response was even more beautiful and heartwarming than I could have ever imagined, she noted. I went into this conversation with him hoping for acceptance and support, which I was lucky enough to receive, but beyond that, he gave me friendship. It shows how incredibly supportive he was and how he was such an open-minded man. Despite knowing she couldn't be the mom she is today if she'd continued with her pregnancy as a teen, Erin admitted to feeling guilt over her decision after Levi. I remember when I had my first child, she said, looking at him and thinking, how could I have done that? However, she felt compelled to speak out and share her experience due to her platform. I felt like if I didn't have this conversation and open up about it, what kind of woman would I be? She said. I think the more stories that are out there, especially from influential people, the more relatable this becomes and the more people can understand it. Mixed reactions continue to sound off on the reboot of Real Housewives of New York. As the episodes tick past, things are only getting worse. Some fans think the series has turned boring, while others continue to miss their now-absent favorite former players. As a lover of this particular city, I would hate to see this reboot getting the axe, as Bravo might toss this locale into an already, twice, been there, so now we won't film there ever again category. So, let me throw my unsolicited opinions into the ring, hoping that at least one of these ideas can take off and save the ratings of RHONY. I have no idea if any of these suggestions will work. But I do know that something has to change, and soon. As reported by TV Deets, only 281,000 viewers tuned in for the latest episode, marking a new series low for RHONY. Real Housewives of New York could add a few OG stars to the new cast. Were several of the original stars of RHONY problematic? Yes. Did we chuckle when watching some of their antics on Bravo? Also yes. In the good and the bad, we bonded with the OG ladies of this series. But then, these women tanked their ship, as some of their antics kept giving cancelled vibes. In my humble, never wrong opinion, the Black Shabbat dinner was the final straw. But instead of firing the troublesome voices, everyone got cut, and this series, as we all knew it, vanished. For the record, there is nothing wrong with this new cast. These ladies are wealthy, successful, and diverse. However, they are hard to connect with, as many are guarded beyond belief. More on that in a second. The fans need an OG connection, or two, to join the series to help bridge the gap between the old and new casts. Can you imagine how a few of these ladies would interact? I can. I can envision Ramona Singer standing in Jenna Lyons' closet, puckering her face and saying something asinine as Jenna points out her party dresses from her last hurrah with the Obamas. Or Sonia Morgan could return and talk business with many of these ladies. Her wares live in Century 21, while Jenna sells her lashes on Goop, and Yuba Hassan's hot sauce has secured Oprah's blessings. Alex McCord and Cy De Silva could grab brunch in Brooklyn, complete with a walk on the Brooklyn Bridge, where they could talk about their support of other women. The mixture of the old and the new could help the ratings, as the interactions between these varied casts would be fascinating to watch. RHONY signed on to film a reality television show, where they are failing to give us their complete truths. The viewers have seen this and are turning off their screens. To help bring their fans back, these ladies should consider letting us take several deeper peeks into their worlds. If Sonia and Luanda Lesseps have no fans, consider me dead. You could never make me hate these two. They are equally eccentric, delusional, in the best ways possible, and unabashed during filming. They have given us everything in their chaotic, internal arsenals, and I miss their antics on RHONY. Thank you for gifting us with a spin-off for these ladies, Bravo. Luann and Sonia, Welcome to Crappy Lake was a hit. But where is our season 2? Did Sonia's their drinking go too far? Yep. We can leave those darker storylines in the East River. However, this series lacks lighter, ridiculous antics, which Sonia and Luann were experts at delivering. With Luann, sometimes, notes and tones are hard to find and hit. Yet, Luann is now a fully-blown cabaret star, playing sold-out shows all across our lands. I have spoken to Luann directly, and her level of self-esteem is aspirational, bordering on delusional. I cannot lie, yes, I can, just not on this. I am jealous of how Luann sees herself. Then there is Sonia. Her teeth have fallen out, and she has also taken multiple walks of shame, peed in cornfields, and skinny dipped at random. Sonia and Luann gave 0, and their couldn't-care-less attitudes helped the ratings on RHONY. The new cast of RHONY has Brynn Whitfield, who shares a few similarities with Sonia. But with Brynn, her shtick is flirting and nothing else. This new cast lives cautiously, and their antics are predictable. So Bravo needs to find a new face with eccentric vibes, helping to loosen up the current cast while bringing back a sense of WTF to RHONY. If they can locate this human, the fans might potentially return. Authentic friendships are vital in the Real Housewives franchise. Sadly, this new cast feels disjointed. It seems like the ladies on the rebooted RHONY only see each other while their cameras are up. A lack of genuine connections creates choppy storylines, which suck. This new cast shares little to no chemistry as a group. This mismatched casting likely arose because the network wanted to diversify the series, so they cast a wider net than usual when making this reboot. This net collected several wonderful humans living across the city that never sleeps. However, they are all so different that their connections are struggling. So how does this issue self-correct itself? Perhaps the network could add 1 or 2 real-life friends to this cast. Or, the current stars could work harder on their friendships, trying to forge the same bonds as their predecessors. The latter will take time, but time saw authentic friendships forming in the original series, so my hopes remain high for the friendships found in the reboot of RHONY. May Jessel, Tank, and Brynn lead the way. When the Real Housewives franchise began, the arguments were silly. For example, Bethany Frankel failed to introduce Luann to their driver, and Luann lost her cool. Additionally, Ramona straight up left the stage during her first reunion, all because Alex took nude pictures and Ramona found this cringe. But once these narratives aired, the OG cast of RHONY kept upping their antas until their storylines reached a point of no return. Luann stopped caring about how she presented to us plebeians. Instead, she began entertaining pirates and a man named Tom. Luann then lost her senses and got arrested, only to re-emerge as a cabaret star. As for our pearl-clutching Ramona, by the end of season 13, she was no longer a prude. But unlike Luann, who changed some of her ways following her arrest, Ramona kept getting worse. Her words held racist undertones, and she treated the help on cast trips like dirt. As the fans' cries grew louder, citing at least one racist star and a lack of diversity in this cast, the entire series shuddered. A reboot then entered the chat. However, calls for firings are sounding across the board. Criminals, lawsuits, and life-changing narratives, fueled by unfounded rumors, are quickly becoming the norm. Perhaps Bravo is trying to return some class to this franchise. And maybe, just maybe, our brains need to grasp this and stop looking for dumpster fires within each passing episode. Real Housewives of New York is streaming on Peacock.